Hello and welcome to another episode of the Self-Made Podcast. In this episode, something a little bit different. Recently, if any of you follow me on social media, you'll see that I've posted the amazing results that have come from my client Mika, who has now just completed his photo shoot and now going into his replenish phase. This was a live that we did on Instagram talking through his top transformation tips, finding out what he struggled with, why he got into the program, and some of the things that feel that set him apart and allowed him to get the best success possible. For anyone who is looking to maybe embark on a fat loss journey, this is a must listen because it will actually show you the tips of the trade from someone going through the process right now. Also, for those people who listen to the podcast regularly, keep an eye on my Instagram this week as I will be having another intake of my coaching program, and if anybody's looking to go through their own result, please drop me a DM or message me on simon@madecoaching.com on email, and we can get on a strategy call. But I will leave you with myself and Mika. So, to introduce the man who just jumped on the screen, Mika has been a client of mine for about, 18, 19 weeks now. Absolute phenomenal work ethic. He is a man that just ticks the boxes. And what's great about Mika's result, not only is it visually quite impressive, the man doesn't really think, I've never ever heard him talk about the weight in a way of like, oh, I need to hit this, I need to hit that. His mindset is always on ticking boxes. It's always on today. It's I need to do this. I didn't do this today, or I did this today. I'm going to do this tomorrow. And a lot of that is the reason why he's so successful. It's this mindset of like, I can control what I can control today. So we're going to talk here about what he feels has helped him be that way, what got him into like wanting to do this result, what's his experience with training, and just a little bit about how he's managed to get such a phenomenal result. So, like, Mika, whenever you're ready, man, click the request to join button and let's get going if you're still there. I still haven't had a request. I'll give him a wave. So whenever he jumps on, we'll get going. So, if you have any questions for us as we go along, just put them in the comments and we'll answer them as we go. Hey, dude.
Hey, how are you?
I'm not bad, mate. Not bad. Couple weeks on my own diet now. Not
Congratulations.
feeling too bad yet, but 3-4 kilos down. Yeah.
Opa.
How you feeling?
I'm great. I'm always feeling great. Actually, as I started diet, I was never having any problems with feeling bad or feeling sore or whatever. Actually, everybody is asking me like, are you feeling bad? Are you tired of what you're eating? And actually, what you teach me is that while I'm eating, eating what I like. And that's the kind of, I think, the best result that I can get, I kind of like learn to eat what I like whenever I want, and that's pretty much it, Like, this is how I have, like, good result with the diet.
I think
I lost like 35
point.
kilos.
You're 35 kilos down now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a big thing with dieting as well, right? I think it's finding that balance. Like, people tend to mess up on the extremes, I think. When you're looking at dieting, it's like, okay, you get the people think every food has to be super clean, and then they just burn out and just like, can't do this anymore. Or they're trying to do, if it fits your macros, and see how many Pop-Tarts can I eat for my calories, and they get really hungry.
Yeah.
What do you think, like, we'll go into that first, but like, what do you think has helped you sort of learn to find that balance between getting a good amount of like good nutrient-dense foods and being able to fit in a bit what you like?
First of all, you teach me this stuff, like I was totally like, I was thinking like diet should be like boring, you should eat only, like healthy stuff. Like, I mean, like I'm still eating healthy stuff, but I was, kind of empty, I didn't, like I was drinking, I think like almost 100 grams of protein shakes, which was shit, sorry on the language. And then like I was eating like meats, and that stuff, no veggies, no nothing, and only rice, like occasionally when I need it. But now, I was just talking with my friend, one of my friends, Miki, hi Miki, actually yesterday about a diet, and he asked me like, hey, like, do you eat broccoli all day? Do you this? I was like, no, dude, I never eat broccoli as well. I hate broccolis. I know that everybody's, like, listening these guys like Chris Hemsworth or whatever, like, eat broccoli, this, eat that, just, to be lean. But I think the main thing to have like the long term, relationship with your diet is to eat what you like. And this is how I actually meant to be, such a long time. And my friend here is Dan. I was training with him as well, like a lot of years before, and he was also struggling with the diet. And when he find that he can eat, whatever he likes, this is how he maintain also to stick like 35 kilos down. Because I mean, like, I think that the diet it should be, what you like to eat, so you can stick it on the long term. And there is always this plan that you need to lose like 30 kilos in 8 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks. I think that, like, there is no kind of like time, that you should count in your head. You should just, like, go with your, like, as you teach me, like, to go with the macros, balance everything. And that's the key point of the diet, I think.
Yeah. It's a balancing act with that. When you talk about like everyone thinks you should try and lose 30 kilos in 8 weeks and everything has to be quick. It's like, one, it's setting realistic expectations of what you can lose, right? Like people, we've always said 0.5% of your body weight per week is I. It doesn't mean that's going to happen every week. Some weeks it won't, some weeks it will. But so you want to find that balance between like tangible targets is good. If I never gave you a target, you just, you're going without, you'd be goalless. But some people get so fixated on it when they don't hit it, they're like, "Oh, what's the point?" Like, well,
this is how I was. This is how I was before. I was thinking like, in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, if I don't lose like all my fats, I should stop with the diet, and diet is not good, or I'm not good. Like, this is how I always broke my diet. And after the 8 weeks, I will running as crazy. I will go to the gym, every day. I will, like, I would just burn myself eventually. This now, what I was doing now with you, I mean, I want to explain to my friends, because every day they ask me about it. It's actually, we was having a target to get like 1% of the total amount of the mass, down, and we've been hitting it every time. And I was just, I'm ticking the boxes every day. Okay, I'm doing this, that, what I just need, I'm just doing this, eventually, and I lose like 35 kilos, which is like sick.
It's one of those things that when people get zoned in the right mindset with the diet, it's about ticking boxes on the day rather than thinking about where you need to be. Because we want that goal, but you don't want it to that point where you're so driven by the goal. Because if you set a goal of losing 10 kilos in 10 weeks, if you get 7 kilos in 10 weeks, I failed the goal. You're still 7 kilos lighter than you were. You're still 7 kilos healthier. That's still a huge win. Your choice of this matter is either you give up and go completely backwards, or you carry on and it takes 3-4 weeks longer, but you're still where you need to be.
Like, I think that people are like, when they are on diet, they're super focused, on the result, the end of the result, not on the weekly result, and they're not happy if they, as you said, like, if they 7 kilos down, not 10. I was not even thinking about that, I was actually thinking, how to maintain to tick the boxes, because I was knew that the end of the result, whenever it comes, it's gonna be phenomenal, whenever it comes. But I was just like ticking the boxes. There was a difficult days when I didn't want to go, 12K steps, or something like that. But on the end, I was always thinking, like, about that daily goal. Okay, just be good with nutrition. Just be good, do your best in the gym, do your best with the diet, and that's it, stick with it. And this is how I actually, like, maintain to be such a long time on diet, I think this is 18 a week, which is for me phenomenal. And I never feeling my best, I'm here with my friend, Ivan, who is eating, like, a lot, and he's always like, how you can, like, maintain to stick with the diet such a long time. You definitely have like cheating days, definitely. I said, no, I don't need them,
It's not. I don't like the word cheat day. Like, you question you're cheating on something, and like, and as you said before, I've got a question about what you were saying in a second, but just that the point there is that a lot of people is like they focus on the result, and when you focus on the result, okay, let's say you get there. Let's say you're super focused on the diet. The people that focus on the result are often like that. They call it cheat days because it's like I'm doing this to get this result, and then I'm just going to go back to 4 nights of pizza.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of like you'll get the result, like the same point. You'll get to, let's say we've got your photo shoot books in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we take you and we take someone else who's just tunneled on the result, and let's say they both manage to stick to the diet. That shoot happens, and then it's done. And I've had this with photo shoots before myself. I've gone through a photo shoot prep, and it felt great. And then at the end of it, you almost feel a bit lost. It's like everything.
What I'm gonna do? Yeah.
Was tunneled into this moment, and nothing's changed at the end of it. Life's not changed. Your friends haven't changed. You haven't got a new job, or like nothing's changed. You're back to like exactly the same as you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Just about that goal, and not being focused on like being so focused on the result. That person now goes, well, I haven't got the deadline. That's it. Whereas you're now being zoned into the process. Will allow you to go. This day's like no other day.
I actually get an enlightenment, you know, like I can actually wait to start, you know, like my rebuild phase with you, you know. But the point is that I changed my habits. This was the goal thing, you know. I don't think I actually like I eat. I tell you, like I eat like with my friend like a few days ago some burgers, and I get sick, and I get really sick. I so much calories in one burger, you know. I was like, oh, you know, like I'm choking myself because it was a nightmare, you know, how gross it was to me, you know. Like now when I'm doing this, you know, like healthy food stuff and that stuff, actually probably nobody, you know, like gonna, you know, like think that I'm honest here, but I actually love it, you know. I in the process I learned to love healthy stuff which I like to eat, you know. And this was the main goal of the process, you know. This is how I can, you know, like be 18, 12 weeks. I mean, I can be probably whole life on this diet. Probably it'll not be, you know, like not be so tough, you know. But for me,
the aim. You should be, but we're just gonna have this diet plus something on top, right?
Yeah. Which is not gonna be for me not a problem at all, you know. We have this refeast day, which is for me, you know, when the people said like cheat days, I think what they should be learn, you know, that they can have some refeed days during the week if they are really targeting, you know, the macros and everything, you know.
So you mentioned there were some days where, you know, you have days where you don't want to go to the gym or don't want to go and do your steps or whatever else. What are the things that helped you get them done despite not wanting to do them? Because a lot of people struggle with things like, oh, it's raining outside, or oh, I'm feeling tired, it's a long day at work. They give themselves reasons not to tick the boxes. How did you overcome that resistance?
I'm that kind of guy, you know, like I'm always like that, you know, like if I don't do something, you know, I will always feel guilty trip, you know. So, but also the music and that stuff. My brother helped me a lot, you know. Definitely we're going walking together, you know, when I'm in Belgrade, you know. Here there is one of my friends, Anna, you know, who is now going to the gym with me and back, you know, which is like 8 kilometers from here, you know. And also Ivan is going with me, you know, now. But my mindset is like this, you know, like I have like 12K or 15K, you know, like to done today. I'll just manage, you know, to do the small steps. Like I'm gonna go now in the morning, you know, to drink a coffee on the seaside, you know, and I'm gonna go on the beach, you know. So I'm gonna probably do like 4 or 5K steps, you know. After that, I will go to the, you know, like grocery shop on my own. I just buy a car, you know, like probably like 1 year ago when I buy it, you know, like I was going all the way with the car. But when I started trying to train with you, I was like, you know, like let's start, you know, like let's try to go just, you know, like walking. And this is how I managed to make a lot of steps also through the day. But when I can't, you know, like when I'm tired of everything, you know, definitely I think like I just said to myself, like, just tick that fucking box, you know, like just go out, you know, and just break. If I'm 7,000, just break this 5,000, you know, it's like 1 hour, you know, like 2 hours, you know, like whatever, just go and, you know, like walk, and that's it. And I listening your podcast, you know, probably music as well helped me a lot, you know, which is, you know, like super kind of thing, you know, to do. Definitely, guys, his podcast is the main thing, you know, for me to last these 7,000. steps.
Thank you, man. You'll enjoy the next couple that come in. They're quite entertaining. Yeah, like I think that's it. There's a
I think probably everybody's thinking like there is sexy work, like there is like I go, I run, I'm like being fancy, after 7 weeks I'm gonna beat, but it's not actually like it's like you know what? Like I was like how long? Like it was 8 years ago. I saw one guy who was like nothing. Like he came to the gym, he was like occasionally normally looking guy. After the 1.5 year, he was looking phenomenal. And I was like, what did you jack? Like what did you take? Like tell me, what's the secret? He's like, what's the secret? I was just going every day to the gym, and eventually this is the result. And I was like, no, you take the steroids, whatever, you're drinking too much shakes. No. Every day I was going to the gym, I would stick to the plan, and that's it. That's the result. This is how it's something, been in my mind, like always, to be maintain the thing, like to just go and do it, and this is how I make the result,
Yeah.
Because everybody's thinking that I made it in 6 weeks. I didn't. I did it in 6 months.
Yeah. It's one thing when you talk about the steps earlier on, and like a lot of things, a big correlation between people are sort of like they take ownership of the boxes that they take.
Yeah.
They don't leave it a chance. A lot of people, you see people, steps is a particular one. They'll struggle with steps and they'll be like, oh, people go, oh, that's a lot of steps. Only if you make it a lot of steps, right? And like a lot of people, either they see the low at the end of the day and they go, oh, no, I'm tired. And rather than going, no, I need to hit that box. And in the same way as well, as like, you'd be surprised how many steps. I realized this moving to Hong Kong is that the step challenges are either really easy or really difficult based on how much you naturally consider moving in your life. The only time you get steps is when you go out for a walk. It becomes challenging. Like I remember being at that time. I've said this to you before. And I'm in a taxi line, and these taxis are pulling up. And people wait for the taxi to drive to their feet. It's like walk to the third one down. Like that's 20 steps.
It's the same thing.
20 steps add up.
It's the same thing as when you're in an airport and you see these guys, like with the bags, just going on this, like kind of thing. They don't want to walk, they're just going like, it's ridiculous,
Like so we had a question from Katie, saying you've done amazingly well, very impressed. My question for you is, how did you manage things with all your other life obligations, work, family, etc., etc.?
I mean, it's always there is always a time, like you can always like it's half hour, 45 minutes in the gym, and there is like you're walking naturally. I'm because I'm the casting director. I'm doing everything by my phone or computer, so naturally I'm like walking. Also that I was talking with you, how to manage this time with the steps, So I'm walking and dealing with my jobs during the steps, as well, which is for me, super cool. And I think there is always a time, to do something like that. There is always a time, to give 1 hour of 4 hours in the day, about, like to train yourself. And also, I think with the how I manage my diet, to be so easy, is that I basically, make 2 or 3 days that I'm just rotating, during the phases, which I like. And this is how I make. If I'm eventually like now on the seaside, I just learn what I can eat and what I can't eat, like, and like kind of that stuff. And for me it's super easy actually, like my job is kind of like, how to say, like it's not like that I'm working from 8 to 10, but also for these guys I can just tell like, okay, walk to the job, or stick your car like 2 kilometers from the job, walk, do the steps, do your, I don't know, like prepare everything the day before, which I'm also doing, like kind of like I'm not preparing my food, but I prepare my whole day, and then I know what I'm gonna eat. That this is how I don't fail in the day after, because I just look at the application Keystone and I'm just seeing what I'm gonna eat, and that's it.
So with your food, so when you say about making your food easy, like are you planning? So what you're doing with food? Are you planning ahead of time?
Ahead of time, definitely. One day, but which when we start to do this stuff, like I just make 3 days and just copying them, you know, and I'm doing like, and then I'm switching some little things, you know, over and over, like a puzzle, you know, like I'm, you know, putting out this, put in this, you know, and this kind of stuff, you know, I'm doing. Like, I'm not making big changes, but if I want, I can, you know, because I learn how to use that kind of stuff. And for me, it's super easy, actually, you know, like, and I think that people are just failing, you know, to start with the diets and everything because they just like having all of these things kind of like, oh, I have a children, I can't do it, or I, you know, like I have a job, I can't do it, I'm tired, or this is all kind of like things that you can do, but you just need to stick to them, you know, and it eventually it's going to become easy for you. My brother actually is like, he's a super worker, you know. I think that he's working at least like, I don't know, like 12, 16 hours per day, definitely. And he is all about the firms. He's going to do other firms, you know. And he
What does
was
he
also
do? What
like,
does he do for a living?
he's a manager, you know, like he's managing several firms, you know. And he's having all of these courses to the guys, you know, like he's just like you, he's a mentor in the firms. And he was like, you know what, I don't have a time in the morning to do good breakfast. I was like, what? Like how do you make bad, you know, food in the morning if you don't have a time, you know, to do good food? No, I have it. So we start to do that stuff, and he also eventually started to lose the weight as well. So eventually, when he come back from the, you know, like from the job, he have kids, you know, school, blah blah blah. We go out in the evening, like 11 p.m., you know, to walk. And we do the one and a half hour walk, you know, just chatting, you know, and like, and we made like 7,000 steps in the evening, which is phenomenal, you know, because he learned that he can do something like that, you know, eventually. And people just having like this, how to say, like these excuses, you know, for themselves, and that this is their own life, you know, like if you're making excuses for yourself, you're never going to be better for yourself, you know. This is what I learned.
I think my take on that is the reason why, like, when in the members area that I put together for you guys, it's like the first thing is setting non-negotiables and planning your diet. Right? I think there's when it comes down to two things, and I'm, you know, not necessarily speaking for Katie because she's insanely busy.
Yeah. Katie
the two reasons I see a lot of the time when it comes to people struggling to work around these things is, one, their diary is chaotic.
Yeah.
Right, not necessarily organized. So it's like, I don't have time because time's all over the place. I know that often when I've looked at my life, the times I feel I have less time, I'm probably actually doing less stuff. It's just that I'm spending a lot of time thinking about doing stuff and procrastinating on stuff. So it's so much to do. Everything's urgent, and I'm trying to please everybody. So it's like, okay, right, clear out the diary. Stop. It's not what your boss thinks right now. What is the bare minimum you need to do for your job? Put those meetings in your diary. What do you need to do for your health and your mental health and physical health? That goes in the diary. And then find out, okay, this is the amount of hours I've realistically got left for extra credit stuff, for pushing myself for X promotion. Rather than the other way around, where they have become neglected because everybody else is now far more important than they are.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of like creating that structure in your day. But like you said there, it's making that time, and it's being resourceful when you are busy and finding how can you think outside the box to do these things. A lot of people in this thing are quite defeatist. I'm sat behind a desk all day, you know, on calls, so I can't get my steps in. Rather than thinking, right, I can't do it in the traditional way. How can I be resourceful here? What can I do? Could I get a standing desk?
Yeah.
Could I get a standing desk and a little treadmill thing that sits underneath? I can just walk away.
Yeah.
Could I every 10 minutes get up and answer emails on my phone? Is that resourcefulness of like, okay, it's difficult, but what can I do? Like, how can I get closer? It's like it's the same mindset. Well, I say this almost on every interview I do. Like, people asking for recipes on day one, hate it. And it's not that I don't like recipes. You know, and if you ask for recipes from me, by the way, anyone that comes in and looks at this and thinks, oh, so I'm going to be a good coach. You don't want my recipes. I'll cook in boring.
Yeah.
But like, it's that day one thing. I will give recipes to someone that comes and goes, Si, I've looked at the food diary and I've come up with these recipes. What do you think of these? Have you got any more? Oh, okay, here's more. Rather than that mindset that someone that goes, I don't want to get on Google and have a look at this. I don't want to be resourceful myself. Could you just do it for me?
Yeah,
And
always.
I know, like, the recipe isn't the problem. I've got a little mini sort of recipe book now that I give you guys, but it's not the recipes that are the problem. It's that mindset of
Mindset always.
I'm waiting. I'm not Netflix. You know, it's not like
Yeah,
I to click on. Here's the film I want. It's in my in my diary. I'm not
yeah.
delivering. It's like I'm here as a mentor and guide. It's like I need a bit of resourcefulness. With yourself, like, because you've always been very good at that. You found ways and found solutions. Is that something you think you've always possessed, or do you think that's a habit you've learned?
I think I learned through the time, like eventually through this, transformation, definitely, I was always, like kind of like the guy who, if I want to do the job, I'm gonna do it till the end. But now, like I was also struggling with the steps, of course. In the beginning, I was like doing 5,000, 6,000, whatever, like, but kind of like through the process, I start to love the things that I do, and this is how I eventually kind of like do it on the end, like, and I think that definitely, kind of like for me, it was enjoying in this kind of stuff. This is how I kind of meant to do everything till the end. So this is kind of how I'm doing things, now,
So
definitely.
if we reverse back, then if you reverse back to like 5 6 months ago when things were starting out. I always say one of the biggest things that helps separates people that get really, really good results and people that get sort of all right results, people that are resourceful, is having a drive, a why, something that sort of like allows them to delay gratification. What was it that made you realize I need to change?
Last year I was having coronavirus, like, and I ended up in the hospital, and I started to eat, like a lot, and I was never looking like that. I was having like 110, 11 kilos. I was really big. So one day, one guy eventually told me, like, "You're never gonna lose the weight. You're never gonna lose. This is it. Like, you look like a pig. This is how you're gonna end up. To be." I was like, "Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna lose. Okay, I'm gonna show you." So I start first with my first trainer, over there in Belgrade. We lose like 15 kilos, I think, in the beginning, and then I start to lose my motivation, and everything, and then you jump in, and then I start completely new process in my head, like, which was even drive me more, and this is I said to myself, like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it till the end, and my why was actually that drive that somebody tell me that when somebody tell me that I can do something, that this is my biggest drive. But eventually it was my also health, which I was feeling really like a shit, after the corona. It was like the worst time in my life, and I was eating all of this unhealthy stuff, which I was doing, like all the time, and eventually I end up like with 30 kilos more in myself. So my why was like, I want to be more healthy, like more physical, like more kind of like not normal person, but healthy person. And I wanted to show my friend, that I can do it, and definitely he is now, he was said like, okay, you show me how to do it.
Yeah,
And it's
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 a
one of
lot.
my best it's one of my best friends. Actually, he wanted to give me the drive to
Yeah,
start. Like he didn't.
he's done a good job. He's, like
He was phenomenal. Like he's also the guy who lose like 30 kilos like 5 6 years ago, but he now struggling with the weights. And we are always going like together and eat. Like this bullshit. Like things in Belgrade. But he said like, you never gonna. Like I knew you and I knew myself. We're gonna stick to this like till the end. So I was like, okay, let me show you, how I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
And the
mate,
and the good thing and the good thing that you jump in, because probably I will kind of like end up like after 6 weeks, do nothing, like, and I will probably like say like, okay, I lost like 6 7 kilos, that's it, I'm
yeah,
stopping.
I've done it. I've checked the box, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. So I mean, like, obviously with you, because you got COVID pretty hard, right? Like
I was in hospital actually 15 days, like, and I was never thinking that it's gonna be so serious, because we were just joking about it, we were in Croatia on the seaside. Everybody's like, what's that COVID, like that's bullshit, stuff and that stuff. But eventually I get it, I end up in the hospital 15 days on the oxygen, and that stuff. And after I came out, I was pretty much fucked up because I couldn't walk. I was walking like 15 meters, and my heart started to beating like 160, 170. It was that kind of heart rate, like which I was running, like marathon or whatever. And my cardiologist said to myself, to me, you're gonna be able to normally function after the 6 months. I was like, fuck, like I was training all my life, like I can't do without training 6 months. Like he's like, if you want to be okay, you should stick 6 months not to do nothing. So I didn't do nothing 6 months. I was just eating, my father and my mother, like because I was in isolation 2 months after it, like they're just giving me like all of this kind of healthy stuff. And I was just like throwing them out, just doing my, like Volt or these kind of things, delivery things, just KFC, like Burger King, pancakes and everything, And eventually, I gained like, I think like 20 kilos, something like that.
I see that. I think there's a key thing to mention in that though, right? Like it's a lot of people like doing something physically active, whether that's weight training, yoga, cardio, etc. Quite often when I start, I quite like front loading a lot of cardio with people, like not everybody, but a lot of people. And I often I encourage them. I don't care whenever they do it, but can they do ideally do on the rest days? And the reason why is just the ability to do something active every day. You tend to find that people don't want to go. If I've done a really good training session, they're just going to go, actually what, they're going to respect their body more. They're going to look after themselves. I don't want to ruin that. But if they've got a day sitting up on the sofa with their feet up watching Netflix, they're more likely to grab the bag of Doritos. And I see that quite commonly. And sometimes I think the lesson there, like obviously you got to that point, you got that challenge where you could sort of like put it in place and get going. But anyone struggling out there getting themselves in a rut, whether it's coming out of COVID, like maybe if you're not ready to start the food side of it yet, maybe start with an activity to give you more respect for yourself. And then that can go into, I'm going to look after myself more with my nutrition. I want to see if I can perform better. And like momentum becomes such a...
Hey, here is my friend Anna, who is helping me always to walk, now in Split.
Awesome. Hey, thank you very much for helping him out. But yeah, it's sometimes it's like a lot of the times people feel like they have to do everything at once, right? It's like the New Year's resolutions. Like try and do 400 resolutions at once rather than going, do you know what? If I do one thing, I do one thing really well, and then I can sort of like build momentum, and then it's easy to do the second thing, and then the third thing, and then the fourth thing, and like, so I'm gonna before I ask one more question, we'll go back and speak about that as we've just got Anna on. You've name dropped a lot of people in this. Yeah. How important do you feel that your support network was in helping you get this results? Like having a good support network that helps you along.
I mean, like that's the old, like the friends are everything, like now when I come to Split, I was hearing friends who gave me negative things, like don't do this, you're you're like this or that, you don't look good, like you look sick, whatever, and I was hearing, of course, friends with like Anna, Diana or whatever, who were just like keeping me on the track, because when you're too much on the diet, like you start to lose the sight. How do you look like, and for me it's now the normal thing, like to do like this, but after like probably they didn't see me like for the year, they're like in the shock, to see me with 30 kilos less. And I think the friends are pretty much everything, like they're keeping me, like going, some of them are, trying to give me the negative things, but I mean, like, my mindset is good, because I'm learning for these negative things and just transform into the positive things, and in Belgrade, family helped me a lot, because they support me a lot, especially the brother, and I think that if they didn't be with me, probably it will be much more tougher, I will do it on the end, definitely. That's my mentality, but it will be much more tougher, definitely,
Yeah.
Because there is a brother, who is always, like cool to work, do the steps with me, after the job. So I'm thankful for that.
I think, I think the support network with diet is really important. Like, it's both positive
Support is always,
yeah. Like you mentioned, like you having that your brother will go and do steps with you, and like the days where you aren't feeling it, it's much easier to let yourself down than it is to let you and your brother down.
definitely. It's kind of obligation now, because he's also get it, like a little bit kilos, so
so
he's always
go,
like, hey,
he might not go, and that's his result ruined.
Yeah. He's always like, hey, let's go, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. But as I tell you, like I think that surrounding yourself with the positive, people, it's the key thing, because there is a lot of people who will be negative, like there is a lot of people who will tell you like you're not gonna succeed, or just stop with that, like it's not worth, whatever. Let's go eat burgers or whatever, And I think and I think like that's the key thing, like your surrounding is like something that is gonna support you or not support you, so you can choose it, for yourself.
How do you power through the negative chat?
I mean, like as I tell you, like I'm mentality. I think like Michael Jordan, like I'm always trying to process like negative things and to do positive things. This is kind of like what I'm thinking. And the biggest enemy to myself is me. Like I think on the end there, that's not them, that's me. That my brain is like playing with me tricks. Always. But you helped me a lot. I can tell that you helped me a lot. Like last 2 weeks, I was hearing like my grandma, my friends, like trying to say to me like that I'm feeling that I'm looking like really thin, too much, that it's too much, and that kind of stuff. And you start, to shake a little bit, you're maybe I should, gain a little mass or whatever. But then there is a guidance, like as you tell, like you're our motivator, so I called you and we talk and you explained to me, and it was pretty much, like really big help, after everything. And the friends, of course. For example, Diana, Anna, and whatever, they was also, like helped me a lot to go through this, because some people not gonna understand your, goals, not gonna support them as well.
Exactly. It's understanding that they're your goals. Like when you came into it was your goals, and you didn't do it based on someone else. And when you end, it's still your goal. And
it's your goal on the end. It's not their goals. What you explained to me.
And I think the big thing that I think I haven't had a client that's got a good result where this hasn't happened. Not one. It's a shame because it shouldn't happen, right? Like we should be as a community always supportive of people that are trying to better themselves and not judge. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. And I don't even think people are subconsciously trying to be mean, but I do think people who are taking control of their life.
I think that they're just. I think that they even thinking that they're doing good for you. Like I think that like if they say to you, like, you're too thin. You should get a little bit more. Like whatever they think that like fat or whatever. They're thinking that they're really helping you. I think that's I think that none of my friends are meant to fuck me up in the transformation. But what they're thinking, like you don't look like my projection of yourself. And that's it.
Said. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but this is my transformation. That's it. Like I don't mind what you're talking about.
I always look at it two ways. So there's that element of there's always this element of like subconscious jealousy. If someone's taking control of their life, it shines a spotlight and an uncomfortableness on what they are not doing. Mika killing it, doing his steps when I'm sitting on the sofa, I don't feel as comfortable here anymore because you go and doing that. And it's the same way. It's like the person who comes into the office with donuts. They'll always offer the person dieting one first because if they have a donut, then if the dieting person has a donut, it's okay for me to have a donut. Whereas, like realistically, if you had a donut, it might be after you fit it into your calories between the first one you've had in 12 weeks. They probably had 3 on the way back to the office. It's that. And then there's the other side of that spectrum. It's like, okay, maybe at this stage your face does look a little thin. Maybe it looks a little thinner than you like. It doesn't mean that you don't need to be there. Because it's like, I'll put some photos up after this. I'll tell a story of my stories. I'll put up my photos 3 weeks before my last shoot in 2018. And I look like a skeleton. People go, are you all right? You well? I'm like, no, I'm a bit flat. And it's a necessary part of dieting. I always explain being flat. You've heard this analogy, but people watching might not. Think of your muscles like a sponge. And then Imagine you're dieting. It's like squeezing out water. It's like squeezing out the stored carbohydrate in the muscle. That sponge looks smaller, but it's the same amount of material. You've not got a smaller sponge. You've just got a less inflated sponge. And then you fill out, you carb up, you add some more food, and it fills back out again. So being flat is a part of dieting that has to be there. If anyone wants to get really lean, you've got to go through a period of a few weeks where they're going to go, I look smaller than what I look, but I know I'm not losing muscle because I'm getting strong. Don't worry, it'll come back. And a lot of guys in particular, not so much girls, but guys freak out in that time because you don't look quite as lean, you don't look quite as jacked, because when you're flat, not only do you look smaller, but you're also not popping against the skin as much, so you sometimes don't look as lean, and then they're like, oh, maybe I should quit this now. But no, you're on the cusp of where you need to be. You just need to go. We'll feed you up in a bit. Just like keep going.
Yeah. But actually, to mention to you, if I was doing this alone, I will definitely, because of this kind of stuff, I think that a lot of guys who are now listening this, or who will listen in this is why they're breaking the diets, because they get scared that they're flat, and they're thinking they're losing a muscle. This is what I was doing, in the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm losing a muscle, like, Simon, help me, and you will be always like, this is just a phase, And if I didn't have a guidance into this kind of stuff, I'd probably break my diet and stop it and break everything and this kind of stuff. This is where the coaches are the main things, I think that this is where the mentorship is coming in, to play. Otherwise, I will definitely, I can tell 100% sure I will stop with my diet, because, like a lot of guys, they're sticking to the mass, they're like, they want to be defined, but they want to be big as they're on the steroids, but they don't realize that there is different stages and different phases in the diet, where you're going to be flat, where you're going to look bigger, where you're going to look smaller or whatever. But eventually, as you said, you're getting, you're getting stronger, you're not losing nothing,
Yeah. Two things are interesting in that. One, I think a lot of guys are very much attached to how much muscle they think they have rather than how much muscle they actually have.
And that's the one of the key things.
Like, they feel all big in a t-shirt. They go, "Oh, I'm jacked. I don't want to lose it." Like, no, you just had a layer on top of it. Like,
you have 2 layers of pizza.
How big you actually are.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing. And I think the key thing there is learning what metrics to look at. You mentioned like, oh, I'm getting stronger, so I'm not losing muscle mass. Like, you're very good at keeping track of everything. Like, how has that helped you in this process of like keeping records and knowing things, like knowing your weight, knowing your calories, knowing your steps? Like, how has that helped you?
I think that that's beneficial. That was the key thing, for myself. Maybe that's why that you, how they say it, like, keep me on the track, because a lot of times, when I was doing that alone, I was struggling. I was like a ship on the sea without compass, like I was knowing that I'm going somewhere, but I didn't know where I'm going. This is definitely something that keep me, like on the track, measuring myself every week, like measuring my kilos every day, and then like measuring the foods, measuring the steps. Everything is kind of getting that picture positively for yourself, and keep you on the track. This was kind of the main things that I'm doing. How to say, like, near to the mentorship, like which was you every Friday or every day when we contact you and that stuff. The pretty much, these kind of accountabilities, it kept me a lot, like, and then now these challenges that you're giving to us, they're also keeping me a lot, like now 15K or whatever, like I'm always laser focused in that,
Yeah, you earned yourself 100 quid. You've got 2/3 off your coaching for a month.
Yeah.
He's still there, I think. So anyone doesn't know the context of this, I set a challenge for all my guys it was like a bingo card of like little habits they do every day, and I said, like, if you can post something that you've done in the group or post on socials, we'll start counting them and recording, and who gets the best, I'll drop 100 quid to. And I say, I knew you and me.
What? Actually, I was shy, to do that. I was kind of like, I don't want to showing off, in this kind of stuff. I was like, I didn't want to tell you, but I was like, maybe I'm gonna show off too much, like maybe these guys who are the beginners, that I want to give them the push, like, and I was thinking like maybe if I'm gonna be, too much on that stuff, like maybe they're just gonna be like, oh, they're just gonna be the best. But actually, I think we helped them, a lot to how to say, like, to feel how it is, like why we have this kind of result. Nothing is coming without, like none of these credits are coming without like crazy workout, like and this kind of stuff, so we is definitely me, and we are chatting, like a lot, so he's definitely pushing me a lot, as you are. But when I have somebody next to me that I know that he's good as me, even much more better, like I'm always like keeping the track to be better than him, like, so I'm chasing him, so like it's kind of, it's a good thing, it's a huge benefit, like, and it's a huge thing for me,
And we talked about community earlier, right? It's a community of people that are all doing the same things. You'll never get that same judgment. Like
that's perfect thing.
You've got Trent killing it. Dusan will do well. He'll do. He'll kill it. We've got Adam's doing really, really well. So we've got a number of guys in here now that are going to be in like Jerome's just start back up and he'll kill it. These guys now will come in and they'll be like, okay, there'll be more of that. And I think you're saying about being shy on the group, and anyone that's in this, whether they're coaching with me or whether they're coaching with, another coach, whether we think about coaching, use the Facebook group and put stuff in there, because whether you think you're going to intimidate people, you're not. You're going to help them, and you'll only help yourself, because the more invested you go into the process, the more you'll get out of it. And the question I have for you on the back of that is that you've done really well. Like, you're the poster boy for embracing the coaching process. Like, you've never been scared to ask questions. I'll be chatting to you. Like, you check in on the weekly basis.
Maybe I was asking you too much questions.
I don't care. No, that's good. We'll chat probably more days than we don't, despite having once we check in. And I tend to find the clients that do that tend to get better results than the ones that wait.
Of course.
Wait for Monday. Like, if they have a
100%.
problem, they'll wait to check in on the weekend. It's like, well, that's 4 days we sort of wasted.
Yeah.
What do you think? One, what do you think is why you felt you jumped into? What is it that's made you that way? And two, what are the best tips you could give someone that may be watching this, that's looking to maybe embark on a coach, me, whoever, otherwise, to get the best out of their investment?
The best tip will be definitely, to take the coach who knows what he's doing, and the second thing is that they don't afraid to ask. That's the key thing, like, I think that people, if they're afraid to ask, they're just doing that negative thing to them, I was always asking about the reps, about food, about this and that. I think that I'm questioning a lot, but you're always there to support me, and definitely, like, for them, I think that for me the biggest investment was this, this process was, like, for me, the life change transformation. I can say definitely like that. I learned how to cook. I love to cook now. I love to prepare myself food. I love to feel healthy. I love to like, I completely changed my life, actually. Everybody's thinking, when you're kind of like lose 30 kilos, that you just lose the kilos. Eventually, the process, is the key thing, which you're doing.
You become the man that, like,
you became totally different.
100 kilometers, 100 kilometers.
Yeah, totally different to Mika's, now. Totally different to Mika's, And I think that, like, to people who don't have a trainer or like, and who have ability to have a trainer, definitely they should take it, and definitely they should ask it. And if the trainer don't want to answer you, that's a shitty trainer, like. But if you want a real trainer, like, you should definitely ask him whatever you want, And this was my big help with you in the process, these 18 weeks. I was having, of course, struggles, and everything. But I think as you learn more, as you get aware more of this stuff, like what you're doing, it became, kind of like the drug to you. You start to be addicted to, kind of process, and you just start to, like, want more and more and more and more. And that kind of thing is, it's kind of beneficial for everybody, But definitely, they should start training for the beginning. People afraid to start training, and everybody. I was like that Monday, or I'm gonna do it next week, or I'm gonna do it kind of like just like just do it and that's
Start.
it. Just start.
Because tomorrow never comes, right? There's always a reason not to start something.
We all
Never, ever
become
gonna
then
be a perfect time.
Monday guys, Monday girls. Like we all become like, oh, we're gonna do it next time. We're gonna do it next time. We're gonna do this that next time. And we start like actually you and me have a chat, and I was like thinking like is this a real time? I was actually said to myself like, like I'm gonna do the three months kind of thing for the summer, and that's gonna be it, that stuff. But eventually I'm gonna be doing a lot more time now, and because it's a kind of big process, definitely. So it's kind of like it's a good thing. But the guys whoever I think that wanted to have like this kind of thing, I think I'm embracing everybody, just to start. That's kind of it. Don't
Agree. And
be
going back to the coaching relationship part, speaking from the coach's side of it, it's much more rewarding. Like it's like if you were networking at work, if you're building a relationship with anybody in business, you'd want to build up people take out the wine and dine, take out for drinks, you get to know them. And I think like building up a coaching relationship is nothing really different. And like not that I will give everything to everybody, and I'm not saying I'm going to play favourites, but it's much easier to help out the people that I'm truly invested in and giving that energy back, right?
Of course.
If I don't, no one wants to babysit, and I've never ever felt that way with you. It's like you come to me. Like, I've got a lot of clients. I am, in person and in online. Like I can't think like who needs to be messaged today. It's like if you message me every day, I'll reply to you every day.
Of course.
And like and if you don't check in, then I can't really help you. That. And a lot of people, or a lot of when it comes to the tracking, it's like I don't want to track my food because I don't want Simon or insert coach name here to know I've eaten this. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you eat the donut.
Yeah.
It's like the opinion that I don't eat donuts. I just eat broccoli and chicken. Like you were talking about all your friends earlier on. It's like, who cares? It's not good or bad food. It's like people do want to say. I've had two clients this week go, I've got a confession. I've got a bit of a hangover. And I'm just like, cool, was it a good night? Like, people assume I never drink. They're very, very wrong.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, like the people kind of like think if they don't, like kind of put that kind of stuff in the tracker, like they're gonna be like, oh, Simon's gonna go, no, like it's gonna be kind of like, or if I ask you, actually, my grandmother made me, like pita with the cheese, so I was like, hey, Simon, I just did like pita with the cheese, and they're like, okay, it's super, and it's okay, who cares?
You learn sometimes from the things that aren't perfect on a food diet. Like if what I think a lot of people don't realise is that my job is to meet a client where they're at. So they're eating this, it does this. I would rather someone say like, oh, okay, we're eating the target's 2100 and you're eating 2800 every day. Right? I'd rather that than I go, right, is 2100 too hard a target? Can we find somewhere in the middle? Is what is helping with these snacks? Or maybe you're still losing weight at 28. Okay, let's eat 28. Rather than this thing where you go, don't get it. I'm eating 1500 calories and I'm not losing weight. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're not. You're 100% not. And it's the most strange thing as a coach because it's like, I can't help you until you're honest. Like, I'm not going to tell you off for eating a bag of Doritos. Just tell me the bag of Doritos and I go, okay, cool. We're on this. Fine. What do we need to do now? Is it Julian's on. I haven't seen that boy in a while. It's much more difficult to go. Like it's like trying to make yourself rich on the markets without ever bringing up the stock market on your laptop.
Yeah.
Just hoping you bet on the right thing. And like, I'd much rather just know. Like we all make mistakes, me included.
I mean, it's a natural thing, like I was kind of like now when I started diet, like I was sticking to the diet like a lot, but sometimes you need to have these kind of things, like and I think that everybody should know that none of the foods are bad or good, It's only like that like it's only that if you're going too much with with some food, it can be bad, but eventually, I think people are how they say, like, satisfied themselves when they said, like, okay, like, I'm not gonna tell my trainer, not Simon, whatever trainer, I'm not gonna tell him, like, that I eat this or that. He's not gonna know, but still, I'm gonna say that I'm doing, like 1,500 like calories, and that stuff. So they're just lying themselves, I think that's the same thing.
The kicker with it as well is that they'll always be in this state of guilt, not telling stuff, right? But the people that told me, the people that are honest, put everything in the food diaries, on the long term, actually end up eating more food. Like we've had periods of time where we've actually increased your calories overall. We've had periods of time where we've brought them down for the goal. We've had periods of time where we've added these 2 weekend high days, right? You've got 2 days of 300 odd grams of carbs. And like, if you were hiding stuff from me, I've had clients that sat on like 1,600 calories. And it's only because, like, I know the food diaries are inaccurate, so I can't bring the food up. Realistically, if those people were truly honest, they'd be like, your food might be double now because you might have got to the end of your goal and brought yourself up, or you might have added in a refeed because you realise it's necessary. But that desire to, like, not, like, hide stuff means, like, I can't bring up your food if you're not losing weight at 1,800. Well, why would I go to 24? You and B, who's probably still watching this, exactly the same. We had the first 4 weeks, we increased his food for the first 4 weeks. Now, slope, and it's that.
Great. I mean, when we start, like, you saw it when we put calories in the beginning, like, I was targeting every day, what we need every week, actually, that we needed, and now people don't believe me, actually, that I'm eating so much calories through the day, on the weekends, because they're thinking that no, it's impossible. It's 300 grams of carbs and you're looking like that. No, it's impossible. And I'm like, guys, that's the process, like, this is what I learned through the process, and it's actually, I think that I can't eat, 300 grams of carbs, like, eventually during the day, it's so much food, like, and people are thinking always, like, oh, no, you're on, like, like, kind of like some diet which you don't eat nothing, or whatever. And I think, like if you're like, honest to yourself and dieting how you need to do, like, I think that you can up your calories whatever you want, just it need to be through the time, which I learned with you.
What? So just because I really say, you've got work and you've got to do all these steps and all these things, just to sort of, like, tie this up. What was, if we go through, let's start with nutrition. What's the biggest thing you sort of learned about your diet and your nutrition that you feel that has helped you and would help somebody else over this process?
The first thing, there is a lot of bullshit in the fitness industry, that people tell you, like, you can't eat carbs in the evening, don't eat the carbs after 8, don't eat nothing after 6 or whatever,
Those make me laugh. Like,
which is, like, for me,
at 5:59, that bagel is going to be used well. At 6:01, I'm going to get fat.
Yeah, that's the same shit. That's the same shit with the COVID. Like pubs don't work after the 12. After the 12, there is a corona, high infected thing. Before, there is no corona. You can just enjoy.
Yeah.
So the same thing with the food. Definitely, I learned when to eat and what to eat. And I learned that there is no bad food. There is only, like, how they say, like, how you need to just learn how to eat. Like, and there is no some special timings, and some special foods, like, and and that you can't eat actually what you like. Whereas I mentioned to you, like, from the beginning till the end, I probably never gonna end up losing 30 kilos and enjoying the process if I didn't enjoy my food. Everything that I eat, I like. Everything. There is not one single food that I'm putting in my, like, diary or in my, trackability that I don't like. If I don't like broccoli and I hate the broccoli, I'm not gonna eat them. But there is some other vegetables that I like to eat, which I eventually kind of, like, invented in my food, and this is what I put, So I think which I learned the most is that like, there is no kind of boundaries in the eating, You just like you need to track the calories and how to say, like, and kind of like to counting, like all of this stuff, but there is no point, to be on the diet and to eat something that you don't like. There is no diet that should be kind of that, that's not diet.
It's like
And there's a lot
weighing
of diets with the names, it's shit. I can tell if the diet have a name, it's a shit diet.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's weighing pros and cons as well. Like when people look at that, when people say you can eat what you like, people are all going to say, "Well, Mika told me I can eat a donut and lose weight." And stuff. Well, yeah, you can, but you're probably going to be hungry.
You can actually, like you can if I showed to my friend actually a few days ago. He was like, "What's that? Like what's the keystone? What you're doing? What you're counting?" I said like, "I'm counting calories," and he said like, "Oh, but you definitely you're eating broccolis and chicken and always eating chicken." And I was like, "No, I eat all kind of meats. I'm not gonna eat today a meat at all, or I'm gonna eat this or that, But you don't eat chocolate." I said like, "Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna eat today the chocolate. It was a Saturday, and you're gonna be like you're gonna be surprised. I'm gonna eat a lot more chocolate than you're gonna eat. I'm not encourage people to eat the chocolate because it's empty calories actually. Calorie is a calorie, but it's kind of like not nutritional calories. But I suppose that everybody who is, and here is my friend Svetlutseva here, Ivana, which was training with me before, and I explained to her like a few days ago, you can eat whatever you want actually, but you need to measure and you need to count this kind of stuff, and you're gonna see that you're losing your weight. So definitely this is kind of thing, that helped me a lot, to go through this process. And I was thinking, when you set this, like macros for myself, I was thinking like, I'm gonna be hungry all the time. Actually, I'm full, and I learned how to eat to be full.
But that's the key thing, right? It's like people think the idea is that, oh, I could eat ice cream and lose weight, I could eat at McDonald's and lose weight. I'm like, yeah, you can.
You can, of course.
On paper, it sounds great, but it sucks. Like, Matt, how hungry would you be if you ate that food? It'd be like so little food. Like, I could bulk that out and be really full and really satisfied, or I could eat that plate of nuggets and be like, oh my god, that was worth it.
I was in the beginning, like I asked you, I remember, can I take the protein, like bar? And I said like, yeah, of course you can. Of course. I was like, wait, how, like how I can do the protein bar on the diet? Every trainer told me before, you can't eat protein bars or you can eat chocolate, whatever. And he said like, yeah, you can, but actually you're not going to be full. You can spread it out a lot, and make the much more fuller, kind of, how to say it, meal, through the day than to eat one chocolate, And this is what I learned, I one time I take this chocolate bar, like the protein bar, and I've been hungry through the day. And I said, fuck this, like I'm gonna make my meals to be full. And I think that's the main thing in the diet, like you should kind of like learn to make these kind of meals which are gonna fool you through the day. And eventually they are gonna be all healthy because vegetables are like minimum calories, and that stuff, which is for me kind of hitting with which I learned through the process, and this is how I end up this kind of lean.
Yeah, it's I always think, without sounding like I'm being condescending, but it's like treating people like an adult, right? Like saying like, no, you can't have a Snickers bar. It's like how you treat a toddler, and I'm just like, no, you're an adult. If you want a Snickers bar, have a Snickers bar, but look at the pros and cons like an adult. Like, this is this many calories and it's this much food. Understand, if you have it, you'll be hungry. And then, like an adult, you said, well, I decided this, so I got to live with the hunger. And I don't have the extra. Or you go, I don't want to be hungry. I don't want that. And now it's like I don't want that because I've weighed up the pros and cons and it's not worth it, rather than Simon says I can't have a Snickers bar. I'm like, well, like now you're just going to hate me and hate the process and hate everybody else. So it's not fucking worth it.
Yeah.
With training, what's the thing you've learned about training doing this? Because online in particular, people always compare one-to-one and online training. And like, obviously, I can't be there.
A lot of people ask me actually. A lot of people ask me about the trainings. Like which I'm doing. Somebody's thinking like I'm doing 2 hours trainings. Somebody thinking that I'm all day in the gym. Somebody's thinking that I can do the online training, and it's too difficult to track. Actually, it's not. Actually, it's the same as every training as well. Some people, I think, maybe they can't work out with a trainer in person because, like there is people like that. Somebody can, I can definitely, So for me, it was actually really easy, and I learned a lot, because I was doing the traditional bodybuilding trainings. I was doing one group of muscles per day, which I was thinking that that's the only path that can successfully make your muscles. I was always learning, like whole body trainings or split body training, are not good. I mean, not good. They're not gonna make your muscles like the classic bodybuilding trainings. But actually, I learned a lot through the process. That they're much more better. Actually, I mean,
Unless you
maybe not better, but for me, more efficient, definitely. And online training has been for me, I think, how's a revelation, because like this is how you make yourself discipline as well. I was always leaning on my trainer in Belgrade, and sometimes, like I just want to bullshit him, I'm like, go with somebody, chat, and that stuff. Here I have everything counting, So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right, and I was counting every pause, I was counting every time, what I'm doing, and eventually it went good, it went perfect. And it's easy kind of for me, I think, and for a lot of people, it'll be easier to have these online trainings as well.
I love that point, actually, the fact that it's taught you discipline, because you're not just going there and, as much as we've said how good ticking boxes are, but just looking at a training session, I tick the box, I just tick the training session on, as opposed to going in and going, I'm going to train, I need to train, and discipline yourself to train without that extra person there.
I think it's a whole process, I think it's people kind of like, they learn about themselves as well, how disciplined they are, how they become, how they say, like it becomes the obligation for them to go to the gym every time when they need. For me, it was terrifying to go to Belgrade without trainer. Like I will always have some other things to do, always. Now when we start to do this, like I start to love the trainings. It's something, every time is something different. I mean, like it's a different phase, but every time, when I'm going to the gym, I learn something about myself every time.
Yeah.
I was yesterday. Yesterday, the day before, I was doing the shoulders, and I was sore a lot, because I was walking a lot. I was doing 20K, that day and that stuff, and I was kind of sore, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this training, and I started to do the training, and I learned, how to be more focused even, in the training, and this is these things, like as I encourage a lot of my friends now to do the online training, because like a lot of my friends are like super lazy, as I was and everybody's like, but it's online training, like how I can do the online training. Is that like, yeah, if I can do it, I was one of the laziest persons. You definitely can do it, So it's easy. You just need to, go step by step, and you're going to see amazing results. There is nothing that you're going to do in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 3 months. I mean, you're going to do it, but eventually you're going to learn. This is a process, and you need to love this process as well.
Yeah, and it's just about ticking those boxes. A lot of times, when you start getting the habit of like, I do what I need to do today to be better tomorrow, eventually the result just sort of sneaks up on you. Like, oh wow, I'm looking really good. Like, it's in your mind, but like you're just thinking about food, training, like just the basics, just getting it done.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's the basics actually. Just ticking those boxes, like, and then everything is gonna pop out eventually. In the beginning, I was having a lot of backlash. I was like, it's not gonna be like I was how to say, like I was thinking it's gonna be, where is the ab, where is these abs, like, or where is this shoulder, or where is this and that, I don't see it. Fuck, I'm gonna stop it. But like I was watching a lot of podcasts of you and the other guys, and I was like, just tick the boxes, just tick the boxes, just tick the boxes, And this is how my mentality is now translated on the other things in life as well. You know, when I'm doing something, just be there consistent. Don't bullshit yourself with a small goals.
Yeah.
And this is
So
how
the
I end
small
up.
goes that up, right?
This is how I end up like this. Definitely.
Yeah. So last question before I let you go and get on with your day. So we've talked about like best thing to learn in nutrition, best thing to learn in training. What advice would you give to people sort of like getting into the right headspace and actually get, other than just getting the coach and getting started, getting in the right headspace and actually being good at doing the process? What was your biggest advice be for that?
Just start. I think that's the key thing. Like the people are afraid to start. They're thinking that they're gonna lose the time. They're not gonna have a time. They're gonna have all these obligations before everything. But I think it's just started today, tomorrow, whatever. But to just start. And just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's enjoyable. Like I everybody's thinking the training and this kind of stuff is boring. And everything is boring. The process is boring. For me, it's amazing. I completely, as you tell, like Mika with 110 kilos of habits is totally different person after the 6 months with Mika with 75 kilos.
Yeah.
Which is for me, like it's crazy.
What
people learn. I think like I'm 76. I didn't measure myself. I'm in the seaside, so it's like my brother don't have a scale. I eventually I kind of like buy the food scale and that stuff, which everybody's joking me around, that I'm measuring. I'm like all day measuring foods, and that stuff. But tomorrow I'm gonna go and do the pictures, and I'm gonna measure myself. And I was measuring myself in the gym, and I was like 77.8 kilos in my wardrobe. Yesterday.
Yeah, eating clothes with food in you. So yeah, you probably. Oh yeah. Good effort. Right, man. I'll leave you on with your day. Thank you very, very much for this.
Thank you very much. Actually, thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you.
We'll do this again when we've done a year's worth of building calories, and so it's when your face is filled out and you're really strong.
I can't wait. It's gonna be one more kind of enjoyable thing for me.
Yeah, mate. Looking forward to it, mate. Have a fantastic day. Thank you again.
You too. Ciao.